at his age as well, and how influential he is. And at the end of the day, I know the foundations of any good team are defence, but goals win games, don't they? And they pay the rents, as the great commentator said. So
yeah, but there's another add-on to that, Jason. You just said you're quite right. You know, goal scorers win matches, defences win your leagues.
Yeah.
And that, for me,
I say this a lot, but it is a very common phrase in American sport. Offence wins games, defence wins championships. It's what they say. It was interesting with Virgil van Dijk, Ray, that maybe a couple of seasons ago people were asking the question as to whether that terrible injury he got in the Merseyside derby, whether we were going to see the same Virgil van Dijk again. But I think he's answered that question emphatically.
Oh, emphatically, you can say that as well, Rob. He's been absolutely sensational. I mean, this season, I've hardly seen him put a foot wrong. You know, very rarely you watch a game and he's not been 8, 9 out of 10. You know, that's just the level of performance that he's at. I'll tell you something. I was down at Brighton, and you and I were down there.
Lovely evening.
It was a lovely evening, not quite like this. The weather conditions were a lot better than this. But he didn't play that night. But he came out and he was in the dressing room area, and there's just an air about him of just a lovely fella. That's what came across to me watching him. No airs and graces about him. Not look at me. You know, I'm the big star. It was nothing like that. Really grounded, really lovely, personable person. Spoke very well with the Brighton people that were in and around him. I can't speak highly enough about him. I don't know him that well, but it's only what I see of him, and I only speak from that position of how you find someone when you're in and around the company on occasions. I've just got to say, I thought he's been a first-class captain and leader this season.
I think the way Arne Slot as well sets his team up and his tactics, you know, it is more patient, pragmatic. It certainly has suited and brought a lot of players on this season. I think Virgil has benefited from the way they play. I think under Jurgen at times, you know, the quick transition, he could be caught out a couple of times, exposed, and had a bit more work to do. But under Slot, with this sort of pragmatic, patient build-up where, you know, he's on the ball, you know, they can keep it, he can make sure that the defenders are around them, he can defend deep, he can drop a little bit more, he can watch it a little bit while they're in possession. I think it's certainly helped him, but I don't want to take anything away from his performances. Ray's right, consistency has just been the key for him.
Just to come back to your point then about the way he speaks, also the way he carries himself, and it has been one of the running themes of the season, is Arne Slot every Friday was asked, what about those 3 boys and their contracts, with Virgil van Dijk being one of them. He never ducked walking through the mix zone and answering the questions, but always handled it in a very statesman-like fashion. He said, yep, I want to stay, but ultimately it's not your business to the reporters, but I want to sign it, and eventually he did sign it, and here he is.
And Liverpool did it in the right way, behind closed doors. You know, it wasn't for everyone to know exactly what was going on. They were patient in what they had to do. They worked hard behind the scenes to make sure that they got the right deals for the players. They got the 2 out of 3, which they'll be absolutely delighted with. 2 lads who've been so solid this season. You know, the consistency from both Mo and others has been absolutely fantastic. Likewise, you know, with Virgil, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking for players that are going to be game in, game out, as good as you can have it, and that's what we've seen with the players this season. Manager deserves a lot of credit in how he handled things. I think there's no question about that either. You know, Arnie's been absolutely sensational this season, but the players have reacted to him. And Jason said I thought there was a subtle change in the way that Liverpool played this season from last season under Jurgen. I thought last season players went after the game for 10 minutes and then a breather for 2 or 3, 4 minutes. I think we've been more consistent this season, so we've been at it for a longer periods, and teams have really struggled to play against Liverpool that way. So that's the little change from the manager's point of view. But you've got to buy